Yo, what's up? It's your boy Dragon making one of the tutorial, and today's video I'm gonna be showing y'all how to make an IRL thumbnail. And this gonna be like one of them thumbnails directing to your crush TikTok type of video. So yeah, and this was a subscribe request video also, just requested by my boy D. So if y'all like the video, make sure y'all like and subscribe. And with all that being said, let's get straight into the video. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is go to File, New, and you want to pick 1280 by 720 once you get into Photoshop. And then after this, you want to get your screenshot. So I'm just go bring mine in by going to File, Open, and then just going in here, getting a screenshot. And I think the one I picked was this one right here. If you want to know how to get it, I'm gonna leave a link in the description or the comment section on the video, because I actually made a video on how to get screenshots. But once you get it, just make it a little bigger. You see, you get like about, let me see, yeah, about this size right there. So once you get this size right here, hit P on your keyboard to go to the pen tool, and then hit control and the plus symbol to zoom in. Then hit P on your keyboard. Just make sure you got like the little pen tool, and you just want to basically start cutting out. So I'm gonna speed this up, and I'll be back with y'all once I'm done. Alright, so once you get done with the cutout, just connect the dots, and then you want to right click on your keyboard to go to make selection. And when you do this, just like go out a little bit, then connect the dots so it can come out a little better. But make selection, hit OK, and make sure your feather radius is on 1. So once it's on 1, you good. Just go down here, create a mask. And what you can do is 2 things you can do. You can hit Control J, go down here, right click, delete or disable the mask, and just bring this back over like this, which would be the best option probably. Or you can just go on here, hit Control C, come back, hit Control V, and have it about this size. When I actually made the thumbnail, I just did this method where I had it about that size. So if you want to do that, it's up to you. But the next thing we're gonna be doing is going to brightness and contrast, create a clipping mask, and then you want to up the brightness on this image right here, and make sure you up it a good little bit, because sometimes the brightness on these images, it don't be that good. So just make sure it has enough brightness on it, and hit Control S to say a word after you're done doing that. So you just hit Control S, save whatever you want. I'm gonna name this Reacting Crush V2, and I am gonna give out the PSD for this. So yeah, it's gonna be free too. Alright, so next thing you want to do is go to vibrance and saturation. You want to put your vibrance at 13, and you want to put your saturation at 4. That is what I had for this thumbnail. And next thing we're gonna do is go to brightness and contrast. We just gonna keep this right here, because we are gonna end up adding more brightness to the image later on the thumbnail. But now we're gonna focus on is making the background color pop out. So what you want to do is go to hue and saturation. The next thing you want to do, I'm gonna show you how to do it, but I'm gonna bring in the one I already made after I show y'all. So keep that hue and saturation up there in case you want to change the color. But go to the layer down here to create a layer. Then hit B on your keyboard to go to the brush tool. And the size of your brush, make sure it's up a little bit. I make mine bigger with the brackets, or you can just go up here and change the size by yourself. But make sure your hardness is to 0 when you do this. So obviously the color I picked was pink for the thumbnail. So what I would do, take this brush, I made mine about 600, then just dragging around the whole image like this. And then after that, you can go and add this and change it to color. Now like I said, if you want to change the color, you can go to create a clipping mask. You can mess with the hue. Now if you mess with the hue, the saturation on this won't change. The saturation will stay the same, the color will just change. But if you go to colorize, you see the saturation automatically changes and you get a little different. But you can pick the color much easier when you do colorize. So it's really how you want to do it. But like I said, I'm gonna bring in mine and show y'all how I did it already. But that's just how you want to do it if you want to do it your own way. So yeah, so as you can see, the way mine is set up is a little different. I got this from a previous thumbnail I made. Just went up in here, added the hue and saturation. Like I said, I colorized, turned my saturation all the way 100, and picked 298 on the little scale for the hue. So that'll be a pink color right there. As you can see, when you change it, to give you the number, and it's different colors for everything. So I just picked 298, saturation 100. Hit Control S to say your work once you're done with that. And the next thing we're gonna do is add the glow, inner shadow, and all the good stuff to the dude right here. So to add this, you want to go to blending options, and you want to go to inner shadow, inner, like we're gonna have 2 inner shadows, and if you don't have that to add to, you just hit this plus symbol and you'll get an extra one. Now I don't want 3, so I'm gonna just take this off, but that's how you add 2. So as you can see, for this first inner shadow right here, I have linear dodge add for my blending mode, and I always use that. My opacity, I keep it a little low, don't never want to go too high on that. Your distance, I put this at 8. Now you probably won't be able to use my same distance on your image, just because the distance, it looks a little weird if you try to use the same number on a bigger image. It's not gonna look right. Inner shadow for the second one, basically the same thing, just change the color to pink, but my opacity is a little higher, so the opacity you have the color with, make sure it's higher than the one with just a regular white color, so it can pop out a little bit more. Now your outer glow, you can add this also. They got mine a little smaller for right now. What you want to do is make this bigger, and you want to change it to the color of the background. Now don't select the color of the background, because it's gonna literally blend in with the background, but you want to select a color that's lighter than the background color and pops out a little better too. And you might want to up the opacity a little bit more if you can't see it, and you could add the spread a little bit too if you want to make it a little better. Now after this, some people add drop shadow. I'm not a big fan on drop shadow, like when I add my outer glows, but you can do it if you feel like it look good. You just gonna have to up your opacity a little bit more to make it show a little bit better. But that's pretty much all my settings I add on do it on here. So yeah, and I'm gonna just show you, these are the settings right here. So if you want to look at it, like, these are the settings I use right here, and you can pause the video to see it a little bit better. But after that, you want to hit Control S so your work. I always do that, because I don't know what version of Photoshop y'all got, but if y'all got CS6, y'all need to say y'all work, because that jump probably gonna crash on you. I'm gonna keep it a buck. But basically for this background image, you can go down here and up the brightness just a little bit. And I think the first time I made it, I really didn't up the brightness, so it was looking kind of dull back there. So just up a little bit, because it's really not a lot going on back there anyway. So after this, create a new layer above the dude right here. I'm gonna just call him Rex. I keep calling him dude. I ain't really got no name for him, so I'm gonna call him Rex. So just do that. But after this, you want to switch out with a little color picker tool down here. Select the color of white, so you don't have to get rid of your pink color. But do that, and then beside the face, you just want to add these little dots right here. And this is what a lot of people use on IRL thumbnails, not on these right here. So I'm just doing something a little different, but they use these on IRL thumbnails in general. So you can put that to screen and up or lower the opacity a little bit. It's up to you. But the next thing I'm gonna do is bring in emoji. It's gonna be like the hard eyes emoji and the drooling emoji. I'm gonna put one to the left and one to the right, so you can follow along with me while I do that. I mean, follow along with me. I'm talking way too fast right now. So I just went to Google, typed in hard eyes emoji. You can right click, copy the image, come in here, hit Control V, you feel me? Go hit W on your keyboard to go to the magic wand tool. Click on this, Control S, Control S, Control S. Probably the easier way to do that. But the easier way really is to say the image. I just went in there, right click, copy my image, and brought it in. If it's already PNG, just say the image. It'll make it a lot easier for you. But yeah, just bring this emoji in, put it to the left like this. Make it a pretty decent size. I'm not really gonna try to copy my first thumbnail I made all the way. I'm gonna try to switch it up, try to improve it a little bit more. But yeah, so you wanna add brightness to this emoji right here, up the brightness a little bit. We really gonna be messing with a lot of brightness on this thumbnail right here, so we can try to get it to pop out. So add brightness to that. You can name it hard eyes if you don't want to lose track of your stuff. Then just come over here, click on that layer of Rex, right click, copy the layer style, go on here, right click, paste the layer style, and as you can see, we got the little stuff that was on that onto this, but we're gonna add a drop shadow on this one instead. So yeah, just do something like that, and it should look similar to this right here. And I looked at my other one, and I see that I made this emoji a little bigger on it. So I'm gonna try to up the size on a little bit more, but yeah, just make sure it's pretty big. Try to take up this whole little area right here. If you make something similar to that, type in the drooling emoji, and if you specifically gonna get this right here, don't pick that one. You feel me? This is what you don't want to pick right here. Do not put that on the thumbnail. You want to have something like this. So just right click, copy the image, then come over here and hit Control V. They tripping for that emoji for real though, but hit Control V like I said. And you just want to right click, copy layer style from that one, then come over here, right click, copy layer style, then right click, paste layer style on this one right here. You can see the little effects transferring onto this. So after that, you want to go to brightness and contrast, create a clipping mask, up the brightness on this also, so you can have something like this. And now what we're gonna do is get started on the right side of the thumbnail. For right now, we're gonna kind of leave this where it's at, and we're gonna start adding stuff on the other side. Yeah. So yeah, hit Control S to say your work, and let's get started on the next side. Yeah, you can tilt your emojis to the side a little bit, and when you see me, my emoji, try to make it a little bit bigger than mine, cause I'm looking at mine and I'm making mine a little bit too small. So just try to make yours a little bit bigger so it can look better. Next thing we're gonna do is type in the iPhone overlay PNG, and this is for the iPhone X, but we can use this anyway. That's what I use on these type of thumbnails. So just right click, copy the image, then come in here, hit Control V, and like I say, you can save the image off of Google to save from doing this step. But what I'm doing right now is just hitting W on my keyboard to go to the magic wand tool, and I'm taking out all these little white spots on here. And if you just save the image, you won't even have to do this. But yeah, I'm just doing it like this, just in case. And when you get down here, you see this little spot. Just cut this out with the pen tool. And I'm leaving the PSD anyway, so you probably won't even have to worry about all this. But yeah, cut this out. So just right click, make selection. You can hit Control X, or you can make a mask. It's up to you. I'm just Control X, so it ain't that deep. I ain't gotta make it no mask, nah. But next thing you want to do is just bring this to the right side, and you can make this pretty decent size right here, the little phone, because we're gonna cover most of it up anyway, like the bottom part. But just make it a decent size. And once you do that, what you want to do is make a group called iPhone first, because we're gonna have two groups. This is gonna be the little testing group in case we messed up. So call this iPhone number 1, and next thing we're gonna do is gonna get the image that we're gonna put in here. Now, feel me, it's a couple of them I can choose from. I already forgot which one I chose on the last one, but I think I'm gonna just choose this. This might have been it. So yeah, just hit M on the keyboard to go to the rectangular marquee tool, drag this across, hit Control J once you got what you want, hit Control C, and come back over here, hit Control V, and make sure it's below the iPhone layer. So to get it to fit in here, all you have to do is just make it smaller until everything fits. So do like that. And make sure nothing is sticking out of the edge. You don't want that to happen. I think I got something sticking out over here. Let me see. But yeah, just make sure nothing's sticking out the edge. So you do, just go on this brush right here, take it out like that. You see how I took it away? Just make sure nothing is sticking out over here. Once you got all that settled, hit Control S to say your work. And now that you got your little testing group, hit Control J on this, create a new layer, hold Control, pick that layer, hit Control E. And now what you can do is make this a little smaller and tilt it to the side like this right here. Let's make it a little smaller, tilt it to the side. And yeah, just have something like that for right now. Now after this, what you want to do is go to this layer right here, right click, copy layer style, and you want to paste this layer style on this. Hit Control J hit Control S once again. And the next thing I'm gonna end up doing is bringing in a little text, not a text, but a little 4K face cam recorder, little template for the top of the screen. You'll see what I'm talking about. But I'm gonna bring that in, and y'all bring it in. Also, I'm gonna have it in the description. All right, so now that I brought this in, this thing I'm gonna do is go and add a little heart eyes to racks right here. So I'm gonna go bring that in and be back with y'all. The only thing you want to do is go on Google. I think you just gotta type in heart PNG and it should pop up. Yeah, so this is the one I got right here. Just right click, copy the image, go in here, hit Control V, just hit W. It should clear out everything on the first one, and just make it a good little size for the eyes. I kind of forgot how big I made it, but either way, I'm gonna be using the first thumbnail I created for the little thumbnail, and this the PSD I'm gonna be giving y'all. So yeah, just do something like this. go to blending options, and then add a drop shadow to it. I'll have something like that. Let me see. So yeah, I have something like that. Hit OK, right click, copy layer style, then right click, paste layer style on the second one. So it should be easier to put on like that. And if you don't want the eyes so fat, what I did for the first one, I held shift to kind of bring them over. You see how I can change the size of it? I kind of brought them over a little bit. I'm gonna just leave them that size for this one right here. I'm not gonna really change it up too much. So the next thing I'm gonna end up doing is go to file, open, and I'm gonna go to my little pack and bring in a sunburst. This is in my pack. I got GFX pack on my channel with most of the stuff I use for free. The pack is free. And if you want a link to that, let me know in the description, or you can go look for it. I got all the stuff I'm using in this video in that pack, except for the screenshots. Everything else from the emojis to the recording symbol, everything is in there. But you just want to bring this in, go to overlay. Sometimes I don't use overlay. You don't have to use overlay. Overlay is just like the one that works the best for thumbnails to me when I do my sunburst. So yeah, get that in here. Probably, I don't even know what size I made it, to be honest, but just get that in here. After you got it where you want, create a mask on it, hit B on your keyboard, make sure the color is black on your color picker, and just shade all this stuff out. And your hardness on your brush gonna have to be 0 for this to work. You can just tap over here to bring some of it back in, like if you want to. Cause the bigger the brush, the bigger the range you gonna have to, remember that. So yeah, just bring some of this stuff back. And you can just name this sunburst like that. I'm gonna go back on here and up the brightness a little bit more. And I'm gonna go up here and up the brightness also. Another thing I did was up the contrast. I put that on 10. And the contrast is gonna make like the colors pop also. But to the next thing I'm probably gonna do is go back here. All the way back here behind the sunburst. Well, above the sunburst really. And you want to make sure you got the color white on your color picker. We're going to the brush tool and we're just going to tap back here like this. And do that a couple times. I probably make the brush that big. Probably have about this size. So yeah, just tap back here. And you want to put this on linear dodge, add, lower the opacity. Then you want to hit Control J and put it on screen. And lower the opacity of this also, and hit Control S to say it work. So next thing I'm gonna do is bring in my arrow. I'm going to file, open, and this is in my pack also. You probably seen people use this arrow on their thumbnails. This is it right here. So hit Control C, then go over here, hit Control V, and you can put this right beside this emoji right here. But make sure the iPhone is below all this stuff. So yeah, just bring this in. And this kind of confused me when I was first doing it, because the arrow looked pretty like, I don't know, the way it's moving, like how it got that curve in it. Really don't fit that good to me, but yeah, you just put it like about right there. And you can have your emoji a little bit above your arrow and hit Control U on your keyboard, or you can hit U in saturation. I'm just do Control U for this one. Go to colorize. You can pick 298 if you want to pick the exact same color. And up the saturation, and yeah, you'll have that same pink color, or you can switch it up a little bit. It's really up to you, but I'm gonna just do that and make it a little simple. Hit Control S and then boom. Alright, so the next thing I'm gonna do is add my little layer styles, and after that we basically gonna be almost done with the thumbnail. So I just go to my IRL layer styles, and I think the color I picked was this, so I hit Control C. Then I come back over here and get this color. Now at first I did do the silver, kind of whitish color, and then I did the pink, but I ain't really like the way the pink blended it. It like it's blended in too much to the image, so I ain't really want to pick it, but I mean pick it. So yeah, I just pick these colors. So I put reacting to my crush TikToks like so. If you want to know how to get this font, I got tutorials on about everything I do in this video. So yeah, just search my channel for my tutorials, or hit me in the comment section. I always reply to my comments. Oh yeah, but just do something like this for your text, and bring this below everything, but just make sure it's above the stuff over it. Yeah, just bring it below that stuff and make sure it's above this stuff. You get what I'm saying? So you can, let me see. Yeah, so you probably good right here. And always make sure your overlay is at the top of your image, but still make sure it's below like your brightness and stuff like that. Alright, so now that you got this ready, you can sit it over here, because this won't be putting my text at. And we gonna make a group out of this. We gonna name this text 1. It's gonna be like another test group, but if we had to change anything, we just come back to this. So we hit Control J on that, then hit Control E. We gonna erase that, hit Control J once again. In the bottom there, we gonna just click the bottom arrow key to bring it down, make it look something like this, give it that little long effect. And now what we're gonna do is hit Control E on these also, click that middle one, right click, go to warp, and then we'll set the little arch on it. And your arch don't have to be that big, but it makes sure it's a pretty good size. And you can make the text a little bigger if you feel like it. It's really up to you, but I'll probably make mine about that size right there. Then after this, what I do is go to blending options. I added an inner shadow to this text. I think I added 2 of them actually. And just make sure your inner shadow look pretty straight if you're gonna add one to it. I really don't add them to my text, but if you add one, just make sure it looks pretty decent. So I added an inner shadow, and I think I also added a drop shadow, yeah. And make sure your opacity good on that also. Yeah. But once you got that, next thing you can do is go to brightness and contrast, create a clipping mask of the brightness on the text a little bit, not too much. So after that, you go back to your blender. I forgot something. What else I added to this was the gradient overlay. Now this was like the first time I tried this effect right here, and I liked it at first, but I wouldn't really use it like that. I just put the pink color on here, see what it look like, and it blends in kind of good because it changed the color down there. But it's really up to you if you want to use it. I'm gonna just use it once again since I had it on my thumbnail, but just lower the opacity a little bit if you don't like it that much. You don't really have to put it on there. So yeah, just have something like this. So yeah, make sure you got your inner shadow, your drop shadow. You can add a pink inner shadow also. I think I did that. But if you add it, don't add too much to it, and just hit Control S to say your word once again. And I went and got the settings that I originally used on the thumbnail. So these are the settings right here. You can just copy these if you want to. But yeah, slow the video down if you want to copy them. But those are the settings. So just hit Control S, and this one last thing I'm gonna add is gonna be the little TikTok logo right there. So I'm just go to my GFX pack, get the logo real quick. I think it's this one right here. Just hit Control C on it. Bring it all the way over here, hit Control V, resize it, make sure it's below the symbol, the recording symbol. So yeah, make it smaller. And the size really don't matter on this one right here, but just hold Control to make it kind of go in like this on the image. So yeah, do something like that. Just do something similar to that. I'm not gonna be able to get that spot on what I did on the first one, but do something similar if you want to. But what I did was just copy the image from the emoji. Copy layer style. Just went down here, paste layer style, and that's pretty much all I did. If you want to, you actually can go to this and add a motion blur like down here, but it's up to you. I see some people do that on their thumbnails, so they add a little motion blur. But yeah, that's pretty much how you do it. So hit Control S to say your word. I'm gonna make sure I don't have anything else to change, and if I don't, I'm gonna show y'all how I export the thumbnail. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the thumbnail. But I realized that on the first thumbnail I didn't mess with the brightness on the background. So if you want to have this up and you don't, whatever you feel like looks better to you, it's up to you. But if you don't have the brightness on it, everything to the left is gonna pop out a little bit more, as you can see. So it's really up to you, but that's pretty much how I did it. So what we're gonna do now is export it. We're gonna select the top layer, hold shift, go all the way to the bottom one, and click on it. And then hit Control J, then hit Control E, then hit M on your keyboard. Make sure on the rectangular marquee tool, drag this across, hit Control J, right click, convert to smart object. Then we just want to go to filter, camera raw filter, and I'm gonna show y'all what to do on here. Alright, so once you get up in here, what I did, I'm gonna tell you what I did was select one of these right here. I already forgot which number it was, but it was either 9, 10, 11. It wasn't 12, it was either 9, 10, or 11. I'm pretty sure it was 10 though. But I selected one of these presets. If you want to know how to purchase this, either look in the comment section, the description, I'll put it in one of those. But just make sure you look in there. And it honestly might have been 9 that I selected. I really don't know though. But yeah, and if you don't have presets, I'll show you what to do real quick. Or something you can do as an alternative. So what you can do if you don't have these, I usually just go in here and mess with my contrast, my texture. That's before I had the presets. And that's pretty much it, because most of the good stuff is gonna come from Magic Bullet looks anyway. So I'm gonna add my little preset and I'll be back with y'all. Alright, so now that you out of camera raw filter, you wanna go to Magic Bullet looks. And once you get in here, you wanna put on the fusion, haze flare, auto shoulder, and chromatic aberration. Now you can just copy the settings for this, but if you don't know what it does, I can explain it to you. So when you up your size, it's pretty self-explanatory. Your size of the glow goes up. I always have my glow at 100, and when you up your grade, that kind of goes with your size too. So yeah, it's something like that. But I had mine at 130. My grade at 130, size at 0.78, and glow always at 100 when I'm doing IRL thumbnails. Haze flare, you can copy this. I don't even think my junk really do nothing anymore, but yeah, you can put that on. Auto shoulder, have that on, and chromatic aberration, you can have that on also. I'm gonna just keep mine around 200 and then hit finish when you're done with that. So now that it's done, you'll go to filter, topaz labs, adjust, and then just click mild details, hit apply, and that's pretty much how you do the thumbnail. Now there's a few other steps you can do, but if you want to stop right there, you can, but I'm not gonna stop right there. So I'm gonna hit Control J, go to filter, go to blur, Gaussian blur, hit OK, lighter color, lower it to about 8%, yeah, about 8 to 7%. Then create a new layer, hit D on my keyboard. You're gonna hold Alt to pick the color. Then we just gonna place the color. Alt, pick the color. Boom. I'm just holding Alt, clicking the color, then placing that color once again with the brush. So yeah, it's just going around doing it everywhere, so we can have colors everywhere. So after that, go to screen. We're gonna set this pretty low too. Not at 0 though. We're gonna set it low though. And then after that, we'll just go to vibrance. Add a little bit of vibrance, add a little bit of saturation. Hit Control S. And now that you got all that, it's one last thing we're gonna do. And that's gonna be this. We're gonna hold Control C on it. Come up here, hit Control V. And you wanna lower your color. I put my color at 26 sometimes, but this just ain't the right thumbnail for that. So I put mine about 5, and you wanna make sure it's on the color you use in your thumbnail so you can get the colors to blend a little better. But that's pretty much how you do it. And hit Control S to save your work. Go to File, Export, Export As. And that's how you make the IRL thumbnail. I'm tripping, I can't even speak. It's IRL thumbnail. So yeah, Racking Crush V2, that's what we're gonna call it. Both of these PSDs will be in the description, whichever one you want to use. This is the first one. Let me show y'all. My first one always be kind of better than my second one, and I think I did use number 9. I could tell by the way the color looks. But yeah, this is my first one, and this right here is my second one. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like and subscribe. Being boy Dragon, peace out.
Niggas switching, bitches switching, no they ain't silent. When you go to jail, you gon' see who ain't riding with you. She was fucking with my dog when I was locked inside. He wasn't even handling business when I couldn't ride.